Hey everybody, Chupacabra here. Welcome to IdeaF2. This is the segment where I talk about a bunch of weapons that I want in the game. I'm just going to jump right in. Firstly, I want this weapon called the Luck of the Scottish, which is going to be a Demoman secondary, because there are not enough sticky bomb launchers in this game. So the original idea for the Luck of the Scottish is pretty simple. Firstly, I got to show you this clip that's from the original TF2 trailer. So the Demoman, he sees a little sentry guy here, and he's just not going to stand for it. He's going to toss this big stick of dynamite, and in one explosion it blows up the sentry, and then in the second explosion it blows up the engineer. So this is where the Luck of the Scottish kind of differs from everything else. So it's a sticky bomb launcher in the sense that the sticky bombs stick to each other, and then you have one detonation, and it's going to spread out all three of the sticky bombs, and then the second detonation is going to detonate the said sticky bomb. So you have two separate detonations, and as a result you have two separate explosions that could potentially be killing enemies, which is always good in my book. It's always great to have a sticky bomb launcher that is going to be killing people with explosions. And if this were to be applied to a sticky bomb launcher, it would be a little bit more of spreading around. As you could see in the dynamite trailer, you could see that the dynamite didn't really spread out a whole lot, but in this concept, it would just be three set directions. They wouldn't be random, because that would be a little bit too hectic and a little bit unusable at that point if you were just relying on chance. But yes, the three separate directions. The sticky bombs go pretty far away from the center explosion, so that you can pretty much clear a room in case it's completely filled with sentries or engineers trying to repair their sentries. It won't give them a lot of time to react. They can't really shoot the sticky bombs away as easily as they would if they were camping their sentries, and it would still take a little bit of positioning, but it would not be as painstakingly hard to take out sentries, because as you could see in this gameplay footage, I have three separate situations where I am in the same situation, funnily enough, where I'm trying to take out a sentry gun with the regular sticky bomb launchers, and even without the engineer guarding them, it's pretty much an ordeal, and it's not fun to take them out. But I think that if the Luck of the Scottish were to actually make it into the game, it would be really fun. I think that it just needs to really come down to the stats and see if it would be balanced and see if it would be fun to use, because I think it would be a fun weapon to mostly mess around with in most situations, and I just would really like to see it in the game. So let's talk stats very quick. So I know that I was kind of very excitedly talking about the sticky bomb launcher, the Luck of the Scottish, but in order to more clearly talk about stats, what really makes this different from other sticky bomb launchers besides the core mechanic of the sticky bombs sticking to themselves? Well, that's a big part of the core mechanic, because as it is a sticky bomb launcher and the bombs stick to themselves, the downside would have to be that it can't stick to walls. And another downside would be you can't just be tossing around like three of these like triple sticky bombs wherever you want. This has got to be a selective thing, so I think that it's fair to say that firstly, it's +3 ammo consumption, because you're using 3 total sticky bombs per launch, and secondly, you should only be able to launch one at a time. And now that we've gotten the bad stats out of the way, we can talk about some of the good stats. This is going to be a weapon that you need to be able to launch quickly for it to be effective, so I was just thinking that it could simply be minus 0.3 seconds of bomb prime time, so you could just get them out and explode them immediately. And furthermore, I think that perhaps that it should just have a faster reload speed, just to compensate for how little sticky bombs you'll be able to have out in the field while using the Luck of the Scottish. But anyways, we're going to be transitioning over to our second weapon, which is going to be the Fighter Fluid, which is actually going to be a throwable weapon for the Pyro. And the concept for Fighter Fluid is comparatively simpler than the Luck of the Scottish is. It's just a throwable weapon. It's going to be a dousing weapon, as Girardi or Mad Milk is, because you're going to be getting somebody wet. And what are you going to be getting them wet with? Well, I'm glad you asked, because it is going to be either alcohol or gasoline. It really depends. I was thinking from a design aspect, it could be an unlit Molotov cocktail, the weapon's design. But anyways, here's what happens when you douse someone with fighter fluid. When you douse somebody with fighter fluid, it doesn't increase your damage, it doesn't increase mini crit chance or anything like that. It just simply makes it so that anybody who's doused with fighter fluid suffers a longer afterburn, because that's something that I often underestimate whenever I'm fighting a pyro, and that would be a lot less aggravating to be killed by afterburn if it took a little bit of skill in order to actually have a prolonged afterburn. So you douse somebody, you set them on fire, and as they run away, if they can't find any health packs, they just have more damage coming towards them because you douse them with the fighter fluid. But here's the part of fighter fluid that I really like the idea of. if you were to douse a Pyro, an enemy Pyro, with fighter fluid, they would be able to be afterburned. That is a big upside that I think would end a lot of stupid Pyro on Pyro battles, so... it's a pretty simple concept in those regards. I don't really know if it would afterburn anybody with the charge and charge or anything like that. I think that would be more than fair, but anyways, they had a similar concept for a flamethrower in Advanced Weaponiser. I've heard the oil mechanic being thrown around a bit as a concept, but I just don't think it would really work as well. I don't think it would be as fun. I prefer air blasting over throwing oil around and setting traps and stuff, I guess. It just doesn't feel like a Pyro thing to do. But anyways, downside is obviously you can't extinguish anybody with fighter fluid because it is alcohol. That's not going to work. And the upsides are that you can burn Pyros and you can prolong afterburn. It's pretty simple, so I guess that's about it. We're going to move on to the third weapon that I had in mind, which is the double shot. As you can see from my concept art here, it's pretty simple. You got one pistol, and then you got two pistols, because I'm really surprised that nobody's come... Well, I mean, I've seen the idea of dual-wielding pistols, but it's not as prevalent as I imagined it. But I would really like to see dual-wielding pistols. That just sounds like fun. Like, whenever I seldom play CSGO, the only thing I want to use is the dual Berettas. So... like, just from a design aspect, that would just be fun, and it would kind of fit Scout's personality. He feels like the kind of person that would overcompensate, bring two pistols to a fight. But anyways, instead of the design, I'm going to talk a little bit about what it actually brings to the table gameplay-wise, because here's what I want to see from a pistol, and this is going to get a little bit ridiculous on my part, but I want a secondary weapon that pretty much feels like a second primary weapon. I want these pistols to just feel as though they are actual, like, guns and not pea shooters like all the other pistols are. But I want, like, more ammo capacity, I want more damage, I want faster firing rate. I want all of these things, and I want the downside to be that Scout, you know how he caps twice as fast as everything else? I want to take that away. I want to be able to take that completely away, have him be only one person when he's capping things, just simply because these guns are so powerful. And another downside that I think would be more than fair would be to make the item switch speed a little bit, like, way less, honestly, because you have two pistols, it's going to take a longer time to take out, realistically, and also, if it's going to be a really powerful weapon, you can't be able to just switch to another one. You have to stick to whichever weapon that you're currently holding. So, I just want these pistols to be in the game because I want to be a dumb Scout that runs around guns a-blazing, and I think that'd be really fun. And as long as they made it so that the cap speed was smaller, maybe don't make it so that you can cap the intelligence with them out, or even with them. Yeah, with them out, I think that's fair. It would just be a really fun weapon to have. I could talk stats a little bit more because it's definitely susceptible to change, but in the meantime, I think I'm good on that idea. We're going to move on to my most controversial idea, the Hessian healer. Alright, so here's the thing about Medic. For a guy who's been in the game since the beginning of the game, whose mechanic is healing people, I find it kind of weird that there's only like 4 ways to heal people in this game. So, I mean, that's kind of alarming. But I was just thinking that maybe we could just have another medigun, but the problem with thinking of new mediguns is how do you make it fun, different, and still, you know, the basic properties of a medigun. You still gotta heal, it's still gotta be a useful thing for healing your teammates, and the Uber should be unique. I don't think that it would be fun to have a better healing medigun that doesn't have an Uber, because I think Uber is a really big part of what makes Medic fun to play. So, honestly, this is where the controversial idea comes in. I wanted to kind of make the Hessian healer a little bit more about ammo. Now, don't click away from the video. I know. Most people think, hey, that's not what Medic has to... Medic doesn't have anything to do with ammo. Look, there's a healing guy. The dispensers are for ammo. That's the only thing that should be able to, like, dispense ammo. And, I mean, I see your point, but I also just think that under those circumstances, I mean, Heavy shouldn't be able to set people on fire, but guess what? He's able to set people on fire, so I think that maybe, for the sake of making things fun, we could stretch it a little bit. Now, I don't think that any of the ammo properties should come in until the Uber charge. activates, mind you. I don't think that there should be a minigun that gives ammo as you heal. That would be a little bit too good. But I think that the Uber would be really fun. It doesn't make you invulnerable, it doesn't heal you at a faster rate, but what it does is it's more oriented around someone's weapon. So imagine that upon Uber that you had like your whatever weapon you were using, just imagine it being like maxed out in Man vs. Machine. You're playing Man vs. Machine for a few hours, you max out all your stats, and it's going to be just like that, sort of. Now I say sort of because it's not actually going to affect the clip size or anything like that. It's just probably going to increase the firing speed and make it so that you don't have to reload your rockets or your sticky bombs or have to worry about ammo. It'll keep your ammo at 100%, completely refill upon right click, and you get to fire as many rockets or sticky bombs or have as much minigun ammo to burn as you would be able to during Ubercharge. Now, this kind of sounds like a lamer Ubercharge, but I'm thinking in order to compensate for that, it would be cool to have it be a longer lasting Ubercharge, maybe 50% longer than a regular Ubercharge, so you can really utilize all the extra ammo that you'll be getting from that and really be able to get a lot of output. Because the thing about having an Uber that doesn't actually heal extra or give crits or anything is that you're completely relying on the person that you're healing's ability to shoot people. If you're Ubering a scout, they have to be able to shoot all the scattergun shots that you're going to be providing with the Hessian healer. If you're Ubering any other class that's not a soldier or a Demoman, it doesn't seem like it would be useful for Pyros or Heavies just because of how their mechanic works. There's no reloading for any of those classes, so it really would have to come down to having the extra ammo and having your target be able to keep going forward without having to worry about running out of ammo. We could pursue people as much as you want and not have to worry about just suddenly running out of ammo because you're being Ubered by the Hessian healer. So please, if you really like this idea, if you don't think it sucks, firstly, you're the first to think that, so thank you. And secondly, just tell me that you don't think it sucks, and if you think that there's some criticism for it, just let me know. But anyways, I think this is ample time to move on to the last idea that I have, which is the Double Agent, which is going to be a new watch for the Spy. So similarly to the Medic, a guy, the Spy, who has a mechanic that's based a lot around cloaking, sure got a lot of ways to shoot people, he sure's got a lot of ways to stab people, but he still only has about 4 ways to cloak. And I feel as though there's just so much more room to explore when it comes to methods of cloaking, ways you could trick people out, and generally more mechanics that you could add to Spy that would make it a lot of fun to play. So essentially the way this watch is going to differ from other watches in terms of cloak is that imagine you're either standing still or moving and you were to cloak. If you were standing still, you would have a hologram that would just stay in the same place that you are, and then you can, as a cloaked spy, run away from your hologram and make enemies think that the standing still hologram is you. Alternatively, if you were to be walking in a single direction and you were to cloak, the hologram would follow the same direction that you were going, so that when you cloak, you can kind of like, switch into a different direction and then go a separate way to try and get jukes on somebody while the enemy might be pursuing your decoy. So as simple as that, it's supposed to be a watch that's supposed to really set you up for stabs and really try to play mind games with the enemies. So when it comes to stats, I don't have anything particularly in mind. I think the cloak time should be shorter because that is a very big advantage to have the decoy actually actively leading enemy players astray, especially if it ends up being something that's not that easy to be able to decipher. Like with some dead ringer feigns, it's hard to decipher, but in this case, it would just legitimately be leading enemies in a opposite direction of where you're going, so I think it's more than fair that there is less cloak time. And as for everything else, I'm thinking maybe if somebody does actually shoot and hit you while you're on cloak, or if you bump someone, I think that the apparition that you leave behind should last longer. There should be more of a penalty for accidentally bumping into people, because otherwise that would like you have to use this watch and to get away from where you are. This is an escape watch, this is a positioning watch, it's all about being aware of where the enemy is, and if you're not, there should be a punishment for it. So, yes, that's that's pretty much the only stats that I have in mind so far. Of course, I am open to ideas and suggestions. Alright, and speaking of which, we are actually at the final cemented idea, and cemented meaning an idea that I think actually has a chance to be in the game and be fun. So to wrap up the video, I think I'm going to end with some spitball ideas where I kind of rapid fire, just have some very vague ideas that could be implemented a little bit more, and then we'll just end the video after the final idea. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hey, you know what'd be cool? What if there was like a soldier melee weapon that came out, and it was kind of like the Eyelander, where like when you killed people it gave you some sort of benefit, but instead of like health and speed, it could give you like reload speed and like clip size and stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool. You know what else would be cool? Like some heavy fists. Like I just always wanted this idea where like the heavy had fists, and like instead of just being fists, like it differs between like the left punch and the right punch. Like like each punch is different. Like you can have a left fist that's made out of fire, and like a right fist is made of ice, and then like the left fist like sets people on fire, and the right fist like slows people down. But you know what else would be cool? Like they should have a melee for the spy, and it could be like you backstab people, and then once you backstab them, like it turns them into a tree, and like so they walk in trees, and then like they fight for you like in like Lord of the Rings or something. Hey, they could call it like the French tree, but you know, like that'd be cool, right? Like you know what else would be cool? They should make a car. Like the engineer builds a car for the like, and then he gets in it, and then he runs everybody over. That'd be cool, right? Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. You know what else would be cool? They should make like a sniper rifle that deletes, like every time you get a headshot, like it deletes the enemy's account. And then the upside is that it deletes their account, and the downside is that it's too good. Hey, you know what would be cool? Like if there was like shoes for the scout, where like if you like run fast enough, like you time warp because you go 88 miles per hour, and it sends you back in the past, then you could go and then you could kill the other mercs when they're like babies. Hey, you know what would be cool? If like you got this gun and then you get to mind control the president with it, and then he gives you the key to the city, and the downside is that no one else can use it but Right Chupacabra, and the upside is that it's the best gun, and Right Chupacabra can use it. That'd be pretty cool. Wouldn't that be cool? I love this idea. This is a great idea. I just really